Anthony, Skip, and Jose are high school friends. Seems that graduation is right around the corner. Neither one seems to have a solid plan of what they want to do with their life. This takes place around the time of the Vietnam War. Joe wants to travel. Skip plans to attend college to avoid the draft. Ant is the opposite. He wants to join the military and go fight in Nam. Skip gives him 101 reasons not to go to war. Ant shows up at the Benson household. Little sister Delilah answers the door. She seems to have a crush on Anthony. However, Ant has eyes for her sister, Juanita. Ant walks through the neighborhood. He's stopped frequently. Cats are giving him numbers. Ant is a numbers runner. Now, Felicia Rashad isn't in the credits of the movie, but man, that looked like Mrs. Huxtable getting her numbers in. Ant walks into a bar. It's owned by his boss, a hustler named Kirby. Ant goes to the back and gives Kirby the take. Ant begins to play a game of pool. An employee, Cowboy, enters. Cowboy objects to a young blood like Ant being in the bar. Kirby bets Cowboy that he can't even beat Ant on the felt. Cowboy proceeds to lose to Ant. He ups the money to pay Kirby, but stiffs Ant on his winnings. When Ant insists, Kirby attacks him. He gets Ant down and threatens to cut his eye out. Kirby hops out from the back to rescue Ant. He takes Ant to the back and pays him for collecting numbers. Kirby has taken a liking to Ant. He invites Ant to come along for a ride. Along the way, he hands over the wheel to Ant. They arrive and Kirby gets out. Kirby goes into a shop, and shortly after, a man is tossed out of a window. The man's wife came outside to make a save. For her efforts, she ended up getting pimp slapped to the ground. Then the dude tried to yank Kirby to the ground but ended up grabbing the wrong leg. Kirby joined the man on ground level and served him final notice to pay him back. Ant has dinner with his family. Mom's is going on about the older son being in college. She expects Anthony to follow in his footsteps. Anthony breaks the news that he plans to follow in his pop's footsteps. He's going to join the Marine Corps. Moms ain't feeling it. The friends are at a post-graduation house party. Skip is going on about being a pimp. Joe reveals that he got drafted. He's thinking about getting hitched before he goes away. Juanita and Joe's lady breaks up the discussion. They take their men to the dance floor. Juanita is DTF. She tells Ant that her mom's is off working the late shift. The coast is clear for knocking boots. She wants to ride that pony. Juanita takes Ant to her house and she starts to warm it up. She moving in real fast on the player. She keeps this up and shit might be over before it gets started. Before the action really begins, Delilah walks in. She tried to clam jam her sister. These two rookies begin to fumble around. Ant went from riding too high to riding too low. With all of these up, down, right, left directions, the shit's getting more difficult than parallel parking a school bus. But eventually Ant got it in, literally. After it's over, Juanita brings up whether Ant's got plans for marriage like his boy Joe. Ant ain't trying to think about all that. He puts her on ice. She's thinking long term. Ant's thinking short term, like going for seconds on the booty. Before they can begin round two, Delilah alerts the couple that Mom's is home early. Two lovebirds hurry up and get dressed before she gets into the house. They make it outside before getting caught. Juanita tells Ant that she's gonna wait for him while he's off at war. He gives her a goodbye kiss and he begins to run. This transitions into him running during heavy combat in Vietnam. His platoon is under heavy fire. One soldier is breathing his last breath. Ant tries to be a calming force in a shitstorm of chaos. Lieutenant Duggan calls in for air support. Private Cleon tries to hold off the enemy until help arrives. After the airstrike, Lieutenant Duggan is ready to retreat back to the rally point. Cleon argues to search the enemy soldiers for any valuable strategic information. They don't find anything of worth other than a medal, but this medal designates that one of their kills was a high-ranking officer. Duggan keeps that medal for himself. Cleon is wasting ammo shooting already dead soldiers. The boy done went over the edge. And yeah, that's Skip. He done found his way over to Vietnam. Since Duggan got an officer's medal as a souvenir, Cleon wants a souvenir of his own. He chops off the head of a dead soldier and stores it in his bag. Duggan can't overlook that this cat is a certified nutcase. Skip is done with it. He ain't cut out for the warrior lifestyle. The first chance he gets to get out of there, he's taking it. He thinks that Ant has gotten too deep into the thrill of the war. Skip lectures to Ant that the white man's war ain't the black man's burden. We learn that the third member of their high school crew, Joe, was sent home. He got a reprieve from the war due to injuring his hand while messing around with explosives. Skip redirects the conversation around to Juanita back home. After Ant went off to war, Juanita stayed in contact with him early on, but over time the communication dropped off, mostly because Ant was non-responsive. Also, that little rolling around in the bed that they did before he left resulted in a baby. Juanita had Ant's child after he deployed. However, Ant has detached himself from the kid. He believes that the only way that he can keep his edge out there is to divorce himself from the reality back home. The platoon begins to complain that the severed head in Cleon's bag stinks. Dugan orders him to get rid of it. Cleon goes away to bury it. By the time he returns, the unit receives orders for another mission. Before they head out, they have to go get Private Ambrioso. He stepped away to take a private dump. They find the young soldier sliced open from his ass to his appetite. As if that wasn't bad enough, they cut off his knob and stuffed it down his throat like a cigar. Straight up disrespectful, man. The medic gives him a dose of morphine until the chopper arrives to take him away. An empathetic Ant offers his dose of morphine to ease Ambrioso's suffering. The medic warns Ant that a double dose would kill Ambrioso. As Ant carries him on his shoulder to the rally point, Ambrioso begins to ask Ant to give him another dose of morphine. Ant keeps telling him that they're getting close to the destination. Ambrioso's asking becomes begging. He's ready to die. The pain is too much. He pleads with Ant to show mercy. A conflicted Ant obliges him. He gives Ambrioso another shot of morphine, killing him. The platoon is on the move. They get ambushed. Bullets are coming from every direction. The soldiers return fire. During the firefight, Skip freezes up. His inaction causes Lieutenant Duggan to get shot and killed. There you go right there. We jump ahead and the men are celebrating Skip's going home day. We jump ahead a period of time and Ant is returning home. He spots someone and tells the taxi driver to let him out. It's Skip. Ant addresses Skip, but that boy is dead to the world. High as a kite. Then Cowboy walks up. He recognizes Ant. It's obvious that there's still tension between the two. Skip finally snaps out of his trip. Two old buddies take a walk to Ant's house. Skip fills Annie in on what's been going down with Joe, Juanita, etc. Noticing that Skip's look all tore down, Ant offers him some money. Skip tells Ant that he's got school money, a veteran's check, plus medical disability coming in. Apparently, something in Nam fucked him up. Ant goes inside and has a meal with his family. They can't help but notice that Ant is different. The cat hasn't readjusted to civilized society yet. He's eating like an animal. His mom's is pressing him a little too much. She's thinking that maybe he got hooked on that shit while he was over there. Ant tells her that he's not on any drugs. He lets her know that he might be a little different because war ain't exactly some spring break vacation. Ant walks into Kirby's old spot. There, he sees Joe hanging out. They greet one another. Joe confirms to Ant that he blew his hand up, but now he's a demolitions expert. Ant goes into the back room. Kirby is distracted as he tells another one of his stories. When he sees Ant, he's thrilled. Ant broaches the subject of working for Kirby again. Brother gotta eat. Kirby tells him that the numbers business done dried up. Corrupt cops squeezed him to death. Now he out here hustling day to day like everyone else. Later, Ant finally finds employment at a butcher shop. One night, Ant goes to Juanita's mom's house. The sister Delilah opens the door. Girl done grew all up and out. In a good way. Delilah begins to drop some revolutionary shit on him. Ant just got back from a real blood and guts conflict. This theoretical revolution talk ain't really vibing with him. Delilah kisses Ant on the lips. To hell with her sister, I suppose. Power to the people. Juanita and her daughter Sarah enter the house. Juanita is all caught up. She introduces father and daughter for the first time. Now that was Delilah's house. Ant and Juanita leave, and shortly they pull up in front of Juanita's apartment. Before going inside, Ant tries to clean up his past behavior. As the two rekindle their affection, a car pulls up. The cat driving is familiar with Juanita. A little too familiar. His name is Cuddy. Wait, Keith David and Clifton Powell are in the same movie? Man, it's got to be the blackest movie in film history. Anyway, Cuddy got heavy pimp vibes. He pulls out a couple of hundreds and gives it to Juanita. Ant is sitting over there trying to figure out how deep this cat is embedded in his family's life. Before Juanita can introduce Ant, Cuddy pulls off. So they head up to Juanita's apartment. Ant tries to make a quick exit, but Juanita asks him to hang out. He takes a seat and scans the room. It's a straight up dump. Old girl is slumming. Look like somebody set off a bomb in that joint. I can't tell if the roaches are living in her apartment or if she's living in the roaches' apartment, whose name is on the lease. Ant asks Juanita about Cuddy. She tells him that Cuddy is the dude she used to mess with. Ant puts two and two together. If this cat is still giving her money, there's still an attachment, whether he's her ex or not. Ant assumes that this dude is a pimp. She tells him he's not a pimp, he just dresses and acts like one. Juanita puts the blame on Ant for being non-responsive while he was at war. She figured that she had to do what she had to do. She couldn't put her life on pause. Checkmate, brother. It's another night at Kirby's. Ant's playing pool with Cowboy. Cowboy is stepping across several lines. Their shared past, Ant's military service, plus Ant's money struggles. Ant's just taking it all in, letting the rage build up inside. Finally, Cowboy crosses the Juanita line. Cowboy continues on and on about Cuddy cutting into Juanita while Ant was away. Ant explodes and delivers a brutal beatdown to Cowboy. Kirby had to save Cowboy's life. Ant's having family time. Juanita is pregnant with his second child now. She has complaints and grievances. Ant is assumed to be drunk with a job with stagnant potential. Juanita tells him that her nursing gig is going to end next week. Now they're looking at living on one low-wage income. By the way, it would have been nice if she would have gave her brother more than a week's notice. With money problems right around the corner, shit's about to get thick in that household. So Ant's riding along with Joe and Kirby. They're letting Annie in on a previous conversation they've been having. Joe has studied the routes of some money trucks. These trucks contain millions of dollars of unfit currency. Joe knows the route and security of the trucks. They gauge Ant's interest in robbing the trucks. Kirby can get the weapons, and Joe knows how to blow shit up. They want Ant to use his military knowledge to put together a plan. Ant doesn't jump up and agree to do it, but they leave the ball in his court. At home, Ant ain't putting in work in the bedroom. He can't sleep either. He got PTSD like a mug. His mind is playing tricks on him. Ant goes to work and the boss has some bad news for him. Business is slow. People done got too damn lazy to cook their own food. The owners decided to close the butcher shop down. When Ant gets home, he finds Cuddy walking down the hallway. Cuddy's just dropped off some money to Juanita. Two men meeting Cuddy is immediately disrespectful. Cat's looking for a thank you from Ant. Cuddy stood in as pimp of the house while Anthony was off at war. To add insult to injury, Cuddy tells Ant that if he ever finds himself in a pinch, he'll break him off a little money too, like he a little baby or something. He's sonning his cat. Ant tells Cuddy to stay away from his family. Cuddy feigns like he's going to comply and walk away. Sucker punch ain't coming. He sends Ant down a flight of stairs. Cuddy follows him down and pulls out his piece. His gun, not his dick. Then again, might as well have been, cause he's trying to push it in Ant's mouth. The way things have been going in Ant's life, he's ready to die. Cuddy lets him off with a warning though. Inside, Juanita tries to push the knot down on Ant's head. He tells her to give the money back to Cuddy. Juanita is more concerned with empty stomachs than her man's honor. She talking that you ain't a real man shit. She then attacks the brother's character. Now Ant can't live with Cuddy's hooks in his family. He went low, Juanita went lower. She takes a shot at Ant's weak mental state and his PTSD troubles. When Ant tries to walk away, she's still in his ear. Cat flashed back to numb and yoked her ass against the wall. He was choking her out like she was a Viet Cong. I had a woman that was down with me, but to me, it seemed like she was down to get me. Ant heads out before he catches a body. As he walks the street, a brother gives him a flyer promoting the revolution. Ant goes to a meeting where the brothers and the sisters and the brothers are coming up with a plan to get the white man's foot off their neck. Old girl Delilah has the floor giving a speech. She spots Ant in the back. I guess if your girl starts acting up, then you take her friend, or maybe her sister. The two hang out afterwards. Delilah's still talking that rah-rah blood in the streets talk. Having been on the front lines of actual battle, Ant is still lukewarm on that kind of energy. He's dealing with problems of today, not issues of the generation. He begins to tell Delilah about the plan to heist the money truck. The heist is on. The parties are now all together. Delilah has joined the team. Kirby is there. So is Joe. Skip is joined as well. Putting a smack junkie on your team is a recipe for disaster. Ain't no way in hell this plan's gonna work. Ant goes over the plan. Kirby thinks that they need an additional person with Skip. Skip objects. Another person on the team will cut into the split. So where do they find this other person? The house of the Lord, of course. A preacher man is preaching. It's revealed that the preacher man is old crazy-ass Cleon. After the sermon, Ant runs down the job to Cleon. Now Cleon is rightfully concerned about Skip being a part of it. His last memories of Skip was him freezing up in battle and getting dug and killed, not to mention he's still a junkie. The preacher man considers the proposal. Next, we see the money truck rolling down the street. Ant is hidden below the entrance. Joe's on the other side. Delilah is hiding in a dumpster across the street. Kirby's in the getaway car. Skip is standing on the corner. The money truck backs up to the entrance. Now we see Cleon walking out to join Skip on lookout. The security gets out of the truck and begins to load the money. Our crew waits for the prime moment to attack. A cop approaches Cleon on the corner. Cleon tells him that he's waiting for a bus, but the bus is not on the schedule. The cop offers to radio in to confirm the schedule. Skip watches from across the street. The cop notices the patches on Cleon's jacket. He tells Cleon that he's a fellow Marine himself. When the security comes out with the money, the heist jumps off. The driver of the money truck notices and guns come out. Delilah pops up from the dumpster and takes down security. The cop that was talking to Cleon hears the gunshots. He springs into action. Kirby intercepts him with gunfire. When Cleon freezes up, Skip comes up from behind and shoots the cop in the back of the head. Joe attaches explosives to the truck. Then Kirby cuts off the escaping truck. Joe detonates the explosives. The truck goes up in flames, and so does the money. I'm not sure that was part of the plan. Joe is excited by the destruction. The others are pissed at all that money burning up. Kirby comes over to salvage what money wasn't on fire. Another guard comes from inside the building. He's got aim on Ant. Delilah distracts the guard and the two exchange fire. The guard mows down Delilah. Ant blows out the guard's knee with his shotgun. He then goes over and kills that guard and is about to kill another one. Ant runs out of ammo, so he pistol whips that guard. To death, I think. Ant goes over and takes Delilah in his arms. He tries to get a response from her. Joe walks up and tells him that Delilah's already gone. Delilah, she dead. As the police arrive, the crew runs down the street. Joe breaks off from the rest of the team. Cop car pursues him down an alley. Joe runs into a dead end with nowhere to go. As he's firing off shots at the police car, it runs and hits him, crushing him into a wall. Joe, he dead. What's left of the crew make it back to the meetup. Cleon's remorseful over what just went down, but he's not remorseful enough to give up his share. Ant is broken up over losing Joe and Delilah. To him, the plan was a complete failure. Ant wants Joe's share of the money to still go to Joe's wife. Kirby is like, shit, I don't know about that, player. Kirby is proud and practical about the outcome. He's alive and he's got money, a $300,000 score. In the aftermath, news of the heist has spread across the city. The perpetrators are wanted men. Ant is still in mourning over Delilah. Skip has now even more money to buy more poison to put into his veins. Skip and Ant go out and hand out Christmas presents to the neighborhood kids. Now here's something that even I know. If you just pulled off a big heist, the last thing you want to do is pop up spending a lot of money around town. That shit's a dead giveaway. Speaking of spending a lot of money, Cleon is out here handing out $100 bills and buying new cars. Before his spending spree can get more outrageous, Ant volunteers to go talk to Cleon. When he arrives at Cleon's church, he sees Cleon being led out of the church in handcuffs. Next, we see them folk leaning heavy on Cleon. That boy's gonna crack. Shortly after, we see the police breaking into Skip's place. When they find him, he is OD'd before they could shoot him. They probably shot him anyway just on GP. The block is hot, real hot. At Kirby's bar, he and Ant are packing up. They plan to make a run for the border. Before they can escape, them folk bust into the bar from every direction. First they get Kirby, and then they nab Ant in the hallway. Ant is in court. That boy in more trouble than a one-legged man in a kick fight. He's found guilty on all charges. When given the chance to speak, Ant ain't really got that much to say. He sort of leaves it at, it is what it is and it was what it was. His lawyer tried to appeal with that thank you for your service military stuff. But the judge shot that shit down with a quickness. The judge was an ex-Marine himself. The judge hit Ant with a 15 to life sentence. Yeah, Playboy. Life. Now, Ant's got a few more things to say. The boy is just speaking out of regret now. He throws a chair at the judge before being removed. Ant is sent off to prison. Don't y'all worry. I'm pretty sure Cuddy's gonna step in and take care of the family.